Good morning, everyone. Virgo here. It is July 25th, 2020, and happy Wednesday to everyone. We're going to be taking a look at some background information on Monica Greer Justice this morning, and we have new docket information that has come out. Now, the main reason I'm doing this is for those of you that are going to continue to follow this case with the Virgo Triad channel, of course, but I also want to stop some of the crazy conspiracy theories that seem to be running amok right now. Monica Greer Justice did not die in the apprehension on the 21st, as what is being spread around. Monica Greer Justice is being held in Ohio by the courts, and it is due to the damage that was done to the two police officers who were wounded on scene when they came out to serve her the probate warrant. We're going to be taking a look here real quick at some background information to show you kind of what her history has been since about 2005. I do want to make sure that everybody is aware that the information that is being provided on the docket occurred yesterday, and her court date is coming up on August 3rd, where she will be seen for a preliminary hearing. Currently, she does have appointed to her an attorney from the prosecutor's office, or the defendant's office. I'm not sure which one. It appears as though that's the case. I would imagine she's going to file for a request to do her case pro se, so that she's actually her own attorney. That would be normal for Monica, it appears. All right, here we go. So Monica Greer Justice, 53 years old, born in 67. It does look like she's used both aliases that I spoke of yesterday, being Monica Lynn Tyndale and Monica Lynn Greer. What the reasoning is behind the Greer, I don't know. If that pertains to marriage or her partner, I'm not exactly sure. But either way, she did apparently use that name at one point. Now, all that I care about here is her actual criminal record, criminal history. We start off here in 2005 showing a speeding violation, so just a traffic infraction from Franklin County. Then we show here that there are some tag violations from 2006. Again, just a traffic infraction from Franklin County. We start off here in 2012, however, with a contempt of court charge, and then another traffic infraction of failure to signal. But then we get into October 12th of 2012, where there's a contempt charge and a carrying concealed weapon charge with a weapon other than a handgun in addition. That's also Franklin County. All right, over here in 2005, for some reason it did not line up quite properly, and we see a bunch of different charges on that date. So, speeding, and let's see, we've got no operator's license that's expired, less than 6 months, and then we have tag violations. We have no operator's license. Again, we have another tag violation, which is a failure to display, no plates, or two plates, two different type of plates perhaps. It's very difficult to tell from here. And then carrying concealed weapons, deadly weapon other than handgun, and resisting arrest. So we had some trouble back in 2005, okay? In 2015, there's an assault charge showing that the source is from the Department of Corrections, so it appears that this might have occurred there. And then again, in 2016, there's another assault charge, again from Department of Corrections. Now, we know that back in 2014, she was convicted of assault on a police officer then, and she spent 18 months in prison. I'm assuming that that's where those other assault charges come from. All right, now we're going to be going over to the current docket and taking a look at that. Okay, guys, the link will be in the description for this particular case. Now, what's going to happen is you will have to enter her name as Monica Greer Justice in order to pull that case up. If you want, you can also use the case number, which is 2020 CRA 010576, and you can follow this along with the Virgo Triad channel. But if you miss anything or you don't have time, don't worry, we're going to be following this all the way through till the end. All right, so we have here the state of Ohio versus Monica Greer Justice. We know we've got the right person, it's correct age, correct date of birth, and correct address, which she called out in her videos numerous times. Okay, then we also have here the officer agency being the Bureau of Criminal Identification and Investigation. We have the public defender's office, who is currently on her docket as her attorney. Now, as I said before, my guess would be that Miss Raynell Nagel is not going to be actually someone who represents her unless for some reason she was found incompetent to be able to defend herself. My guess would be we will see the regular soft sit paperwork get filed into this docket and request her to be her own attorney. All right, so here are the charges. Everybody was very curious about that. They are felony ones. And they're calling them felonious assault, victim seriously harmed, so that would be 1. Then we have a second one also, I believe. Yes, so there's 1 up there. This is number 2. So 2 felony ones. Now, keep in mind that on the 21st is when the warrant was issued. There was an incident that occurred where she was actually arraigned again, it appears, on the 25th or on the or prior to that. Don't quote me there, because of the scenario where she attempted to try to go into the hospital without a face mask, ended up getting arrested, and she was arraigned at that point also, as one is when they're arrested at any time. Originally, it appears that she was able to bond out, of course, but that is no longer the case, and I will show you where I located that. Okay, so originally, here we go, on the 25th was an arraignment, okay? And then here's another arraignment, which is from yesterday, and then now she is scheduled for her preliminary hearing on the 3rd of August. So we'll be looking at this again then. All of the different filings that are within the actual docket, the felony initial appearance sheet, of course, which is the arraignment paperwork, and then preliminary hearing date has been scheduled for the 3rd of August, as you can see. And, of course, the entry of media permission from WBNS, who is following this case. She filed an indigent application for the fee, meaning that she is unable to pay. Notice of appearance of counsel and declaration of intent to exercise constitutional rights, which is the Miss Nagel, who is from the defender's office. I doubt that's going to be taking place unless the judge requires for it to be, because she's been either found incompetent to stand trial, or because he does not, for some reason, grant her the ability to try her case pro se, or it could also be that he wants her to have standby counsel. All right, so this is one of the things I don't care for in the dockets that so far I've looked at here in Ohio. They kind of are all over the place with the way that they put things, so bear with me here. It looks like originally she was allowed to have this bond, and then this bond, it looks like, was actually revoked when these other particular arrests came through with the shootings of the officers. So we now have, let's see, that's the 25th. Okay, the 28th. It looked like, see, these say no bond. Now maybe that's because she did not have a bond at that time. Some of this actually looks as though she has a bond that is active, but it also shows as that she has, it also shows as though she is in what's called a workhouse. See, custody location, workhouse. All right, so I'm not exactly sure what's going on with this bond thing. I don't know whether the bond was actually revoked or whether it was added to. And that isn't something that is actually displayed on this docket, I've noticed. So, Marilee, if you happen to be watching, do me a favor and let me know whether they actually allowed her to bond out for this god-awful, I guess that's a code. That can't be an amount. So that we know for sure, because my guess was, after looking at this originally, that she was not allowed to bond out due to the charges. But it appears as though she has an active bond status, and I'm wondering if that is because a bond was actually initially provided to her. So is she in-house or is she out of house currently, if you know? I'm going to say that I find it hard to believe that they would let her bond out with these series of charges, but it does happen, okay? So that's one thing that I'm not sure about. I apologize, you guys. I don't read these dockets out of Ohio very often, and they're, as you can see, they're very difficult to read. You just never know for sure what they're going to throw up in front of you. Some of this stuff is from the 25th, some of it's from the 28th, and it does not appear to be going in proper order. So, okay. Let's see. Once again, the most active information on here, or the most pertinent information to us on here is that she has been arraigned. She is okay. There's nothing wrong with her, other than she did have hurt her wrist. Of course, we know she was shot in the wrist. And that she has a preliminary hearing that we're going to be following as of the 3rd of August. Okay, so let me just say that this is, as funny as we can see some of this stuff, and as much as we know that when people get into the SOVSIT movement and they start filing crazy paperwork and become vexatious litigants and all of these things begin to happen to them, reading the documentation can be very funny. But this movement destroys lives left and right. And this is extremely sad to me, because this party clearly does not she believes, a lot of really cherry-picked laws, a lot of information that just is fraudulent, or not fraudulent, erroneous. I noticed after looking at her Facebook page yesterday that she has a picture of the Simpsons up there. And the picture that she has is of a police officer, a Simpsons character, that has his knee on another Simpson character's neck that is a black man. And Lisa is standing, the little girl Lisa from The Simpsons is standing next to them with a picture that says justice for George Floyd. It's extremely disturbing to me. And the reason why is because she clearly believed when she put that up that it was a Simpsons episode who had supposedly predicted all of this George Floyd stuff, or the murder of George Floyd, when in reality it isn't. There is someone apparently with a Twitter account and an Instagram account that actually draws out these characters. And I looked and looked and looked yesterday and found out that that's exactly what it was. It was not a Simpsons episode that had predicted anything. There are a lot of videos like that where they go into conspiracies about the Simpsons supposedly predicting things. And yes, I know that there have been episodes that have, you could say, is a coincidence. But predicting? I don't know about that. I'm not going to go into that much, but I want to say that there's a lot of conspiracies that seem to be around this woman. And I honestly think the rabbit hole that she has gone down gives us a glimpse into not just the SOVSIT movement, but the internet itself, in an attempt to try to push people down those rabbit holes. People find it amazing that you can find things that are similar to something that's occurring, like the Simpsons conspiracy. Now, I'm not saying that there are not actual conspiracies, and of course there are also coincidences. And I don't know that much about that particular conspiracy, quite frankly. It's not really my thing to be looking into. But I think once you start with one conspiracy, it's much easier to get wrapped up with several more. And unfortunately, the more rabbit holes you go down, the easier it is to get lost. Okay, I just want to make sure that everybody remembers we are talking about a human being here. We're talking about someone who's having a lot of strife in their life. And I understand that it is somebody who has done some things that are wrong and abhorrent in cases, like shooting people, but it is still another human being. So let's be respectful in the comments section. There's family that is out there. And I want to thank everybody for watching this morning. I have another video that's going to be going up this afternoon on the moors. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Bye-bye.